Hello artists and musicians, Jonathan here from Soundprise. I know it's been a little while since I've released content on here. There's obviously the pandemic happening at this time, so everyone's a bit on edge. But I have released 4 singles since February, so there's that. Today let's talk about SubmitHub. I think it's kind of become a meme at this point for the amount you're paying and the accessibility that you get of not having to kind of research these blogs, not having to, email them one by one and kind of already knowing what genres they do, what kind of songs they accept. That's what you're really paying for at the end of the day, Of course you can do all those things without SubmitHub, but it's probably going to take you a couple of months. So what you're really paying for is the ease of use, number one, and having access to all these different blogs and influencers that can write about your music. So from my experience, I think you have to be very smart about how you use SubmitHub. Having not released music for over 2.5 years, the first single I released, which is this song, I just want to give some advice on how to actually get more wins. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, as you can see, I have released 4 singles this year, and I think I must have spent around, I can't remember the exact number, but around $200, I think. Anyways, so my first advice is to actually set up your profile and all of your social media. I know that sounds very obvious. The way you're presented online is such an important factor. You can have a great song, but if your profile isn't there, remember, these people wanna root for you. They wanna write about you. You can do that easily. So this is how you do it. You go out. So once you're on the website, you've logged in. Go all the way down, and you just click Edit Profile, right? And obviously, this is just a quick kind of overview of it, but. So obviously I put a bio on here, quite a long bio. I think most readers they'll probably just skim through it. So it's up to you if you want to write a press release or a quick summary of what your sound is, a bit of your story. That's up to you, And as you can see, I have all my social links here. Once you go on all my profiles, they all have kind of the same theme, depending on the campaign I'm going for, the kind of brand that I'm going for. But yeah, this is very simple, obviously, but these curators actually check your profile from my experience. So just work on this, get some kind of interesting story on here, get all your social medias and your website sorted out in terms of brand and the way you're presented online. So my second tip is, once you've got your genre selected and you've decided whether you want to get more Spotify placements or maybe more features in a blog or being written about in a music publication, the first thing you should do is make sure it's a genre match. So you go on here, genre match, right? And obviously this option is kind of hit and miss sometimes. Like, do people even think about genres anymore, right? There's so many subgenres. But anyway, that's a good starting point. The next thing you look at is their approval rate. If the approval rate is below 10%, that's going to be tough. You have to keep that in mind when you submit and it's, the approval rate is very low. Just know that the competition is fierce. These curators have hundreds of submissions being received every day. Does your song work within their platform? What you can even do is, which is a really good thing actually. Let's say I'm going to submit to All Things Go. What I would do is, before you submit, obviously you check your genre matches. That's one. Look at the approval rate so you can kind of be practical whether you're going to get accepted or not. And then what I would do is I would click on the curator, and then you can go all the way down. And this is a big tip actually, is actually listen to 5 to 10 songs that they've already accepted and see if your song kind of fits within what they're looking for. Because sometimes the genre can be hit and miss. You can apply for a indie rock curator, but then they have an EDM track or a pop track in there mixed in. So just check whether your song actually fits in within their last few submissions, So that's my second tip. Research the blog, research the curator. I know it takes a bit of time. You're spending money, so you might as well research them. And just to conclude that point, make sure it's a genre match. Check their approval rate. Preferably you go on their profile and actually check what kind of songs they actually submit and actually listen and see if your song actually fits in. So my next advice is a bit more left field. You never really hear these, music gurus talk about this, but I think it's such an important aspect in my opinion, and that's having a marketing budget. You hear a lot of artists spend money on their music, obviously, maybe their photo shoots or websites, music videos, but you don't hear a lot about the overview of how to actually market the song, which is marketing is advertising at the heart of it, right? And advertising does cost money. So before you even release the single or even think about submitting to SubmitHub, have a budget in mind, and obviously with the music industry, money talks, The more money you have, the better chance of you actually, reaching out to more people, more curators, and more opportunities, That's just capitalism. I can't really try to justify it. That's just a fact, I mean, if I had financial backing of some sort from my parents or maybe a record label, then I'd probably have more opportunities, And don't get me wrong, there are free platforms out there to market yourself. There's obviously organic reach with social media. You have to think about your marketing budget, and in the music industry, unfortunately or fortunately, money talks. So the more money you have, the more opportunities you're gonna be able to exploit. The next advice is more of a mindset thing, but I think it's very important, which is you have to be practical, right? Know that these curators receive hundreds of songs. The fact that music can be created by anyone, and I mean anyone. You can even make songs on your phone right there in your pocket, The competition is fierce, Keep that in mind. Know that maybe your song is actually great. Your brand is on point, you have money to spend. It doesn't mean it's going to be accepted. I mean, you gotta keep in mind, even major labels who have millions of dollars to spend on an artist, it doesn't guarantee success. So going back to being practical is, know that it's a competition, know that there's going to be a lot more rejections than wins. That's just life. But sometimes a great song isn't enough. The moment you become practical about that, I think the easier it is to kind of go on about your music career and being angry about the industry and people. Just be practical, Not everyone is gonna like the film you like. Not everybody's gonna like your favorite food. Not everybody's gonna like your favorite song or artist. Everyone has their own perspective on things, and yeah. Be practical, always. So my next advice. I think as artists and musicians, we get very excited about releasing music. You've put hours, weeks, months on this ethereal thing, and you've created something out of nothing. But is the song actually ready? What I mean by that is, does it hold up with the competition? And how do you know if it holds up? I think having a second ear or someone that can give you honest feedback prior to SubmitHub will be helpful. So try to get practical feedback, not from a fellow musician or music producer, but someone you can actually trust and who's going to be honest, Facebook groups is a good one. There's a couple of paid platforms, but I wouldn't do them. I'm not going to mention the websites, you can research about those. Have a couple of go-to people you can actually seek advice and honest feedback from. And sometimes you get to a point in the song where you feel like, you know what, this is actually really good now. And then you release it, and then a couple of months go by and you look back and you say, you know what, I think I could have worked on this, worked on that. So once you finish a song, let it sit for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, and get feedback, and then reevaluate. Is the song actually ready? Does it hold up with the competition? Reference other songs within your genre. Go on Spotify, go on YouTube, and kind of listen to the songs within the genre that you are. So the final advice I want to give in order to win with SubmitHub is, how does this song, this is more for features in blogs than Spotify placements, is how does this song contextually fit in within your story as an artist or as a musician, Because I'm just thinking, if I'm going to write about you, what can I write about you, Being able to have a strong brand, a strong bio, and a strong press release. So how does this song fit in within your story as an artist, And that can lead back onto your press release. These bloggers, they wanna write about something interesting. It's not just about the song. They want something interesting to write about, and that's probably gonna take you a couple of days to figure out. You might wanna cross-reference other artists' bios. I mean, that's what I do. I mean, let me show you what I do, right? Let's say we go on Spotify, go on their profile, go on their about page, figure out their story, see how they're being written about, see the kind of language they use, the words or what parts they emphasize on. Preferably you have someone write about you, because having that second perspective does help. It's so difficult to write about yourself, right, without sounding very monotone and boring. So you need to find a way to sell it. You need to sell yourself. The first few lines, it has to hook the curator, because maybe before they even listen to the music, they're going to probably check your story a bit, especially respected well-respected bloggers or music publications. They want an interesting story to grab onto. So I hope that's helped. In conclusion, I just want to make some final points before I leave you. So building a music career is actually not really a point in time. It's all these small wins that build up on each other that create a foundation for it. And in the world of marketing, which is basically what we're trying to do here, we're trying to advertise our music, our brand, our artist profiles to the web. The fact is, social proof matters, you know. Your numbers on social media, your brand, your social media, the way you're presented online, all those different things actually matter, you know. A great song isn't enough. I just want everyone to be practical about how they go on about their careers. I think I'm getting to a point now where I don't just want to be the motivational guy, you know what I mean? I actually want you guys and gals to pursue this music thing practically and understand practically what it's going to take, how much sacrifice you're going to put in to actually make it possible, you know? Finally, get excited about the release and have fun while you're doing it, you know. You're going to get to a point where there's going to be a lot of stuff you're going to do, not just releasing the music, posting about it, maybe shooting a video, maybe writing up a press release, updating your websites, and it can easily get overwhelming. But the final thing I'm going to say is have fun and get excited about your music release, because this song is going to hopefully outlast you. And for me, that's success in itself. And that's it from me for today. Thank you for watching the video. Subscribe if you haven't. Peace and love, always.